Spring is a springing and things are flowering all around me, and we're just going to talk a little bit about spring pruning of shrubs. So as I walk through, there's a Magnolia Satisfaction in flower away to my right, and there's a little maxim that is an easy thing to remember if you're not sure when to prune shrubs, is if it flowers before June, such as this Pruned Cogenomite and that Japonica over there, mid-March, they're flowering now. If it flowers before June, prune it immediately after flowering. If it flowers after June, you're going to prune it now. And so we're just going to have a look at this Physocarpus, which actually flowers about June time. But what we're going to do is we're just going to take out a third of the old wood. So if you come in here and look at the stems here, you'll see last year's stems that grew a slightly sort of plum brown colour growing up there. They're nice and long and straight. The older wood you can see is starting to get flaky bark on it, and that's what we're going to take out. So we're just going to take out about a third of the bush altogether by taking out those older stems. So I'm going to trace that older stem back down to where we've got a younger side growth, and then I'm just going to get in there and chop that one out. So I'm going to do about a third of these. There's a nice long straight shoot. I'm just going to cut the top off it there and take that little bit of older wood out, and then trace. It's not too bad actually, this bush. If I can get the secateurs in there, I'm going to try and take this one out. In fact, it's a bit big for the secateurs, so I'm just going to use the pruning saw on that. So that's through, and then we can just take that one out as well. I think we'll probably just take one more out, and that's actually emanating pretty much the same spot, so we'll take the previous one out from. But now that I've taken the other one out, I can get in from this direction. There we go, that's out. And all that is doing is keeping a young, youthful bush. No old bits, no decaying bits, just keeping it young and fresh, and over a period of 3 years we'll completely refresh the plant because we're taking a third out each year. So we've finished this bush now, this Physocarpus. We've left plenty of wood in there that is going to flower this year. So when the flowers come in June, they'll do exactly what they're going to do and then produce the wonderful purple foliage which comes after it. So that was sort of taking out a third of the plant from deep. So very few pruning cuts, but taking, as I say, about a third of the plant out. Other plants that flower after June, such as these Hypericum, slightly different method of pruning. If we come in tight on here, you can see the shoots starting to come on them now. So all I'm going to do is just prune back to where the shoots are coming from. Just take out the older wood. I need glasses on here to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to clean these up now, taking out back to where the new growth is coming from. If you want, some people just gather the whole lot up and just give it a bit of a shear, and that's absolutely fine too. Nothing coming on these bits down here, so I'm going to cut them out altogether. Maybe a bit later in the season we'll come back and revisit and see how they've responded to the pruning. Bit of dead wood down the bottom there, just going to take that out altogether. In fact, the whole of that section is nothing alive on it, so I'll take that out. And then just these little side growths, which will pretty quickly get covered over with the new growth if you leave them in, but I'm just going to take them out for tidiness sake. And I think we're pretty much done now. That's it. Just clean up around it. So that's a bit more of a reductive prune, but that again will keep it nice and clean for flowering after June. The other thing is, when you've got all these prunings here, The natural order of things actually is not, we try not to take the prunings away with us where we can now. So you can just chop these up into little bits and just add them to the bark layer. Or you can take them away, cut them up and put them on the compost heap. But I'm going to just try and deal with them right here. And they will just gradually rot down using the natural soil organisms, and then they'll get recycled into the roots, not necessarily this plant, but of the Daphne or the Elaeagnus over here. And that is a much more naturalistic way of pruning. Job done.